Imagine a pirate so feared, so ruthless, that the mere whisper of his name could strike terror into the hearts of his enemies. This is the story of Sir Henry Morgan, a man who blurred the line between pirate and patriot, and whose daring exploits would shape the very foundations of empires. How did an unremarkable Welsh boy transform into one of the most notorious buccaneers in the Caribbean? Was his true allegiance to the English crown, or did his thirst for plunder know no bounds? And when faced with the weight of his own ambition, did Morgan ever pause to question his path, or was he consumed by the lure of power? As we unravel his tale, each answer only seems to deepen the mystery surrounding this enigmatic figure. Let's dive into the life of Henry Morgan, a man whose legend endures to this day. A humble beginning or a tale of mystery? Born around 1635 in Wales, Henry Morgan's early life is a mystery clouded by rumors and speculation. Some say he was the son of a humble farmer, while others claim a more dramatic story, that he was kidnapped by pirates as a boy and forced into a life of plunder. But how did a boy from a sleepy Welsh village rise to become one of the most feared men in the Caribbean? Was it sheer ambition, or had fate destined him for something far more dangerous and extraordinary? By the 1650s, Morgan had arrived in the Caribbean, a world of cutthroats, treasure, and opportunity. The English crown was eager to weaken Spanish dominance, and privateers, state-sponsored pirates, became the perfect tools for this. But as Morgan's rise began, the line between patriot and pirate would only grow blurrier. By the 1660s, Morgan had made a name for himself as a privateer, holding a letter of marque that allowed him to legally attack Spanish ships and colonies on behalf of the English crown. But for the Spanish, there was no distinction between a privateer and a pirate, and rightly so. In 1668, Morgan launched one of his most audacious attacks, the raid on Porto Bello. Picture this, a heavily fortified Spanish city, its walls towering over the bay, believed to be impenetrable. Under the cover of darkness, Morgan's men stormed the city. Walls crumbled, homes burned, and the once defiant Spanish governor cowered in the shadow of Morgan's cannons. The attack was brutal, swift, and devastating. Spanish reports described the aftermath in horror. The sheer audacity of the raid sent shockwaves throughout the empire. How could a single man command such power and terror? As one Royal Navy officer would later remark, the boldness of his enterprise is matched only by the barbarity of its execution. But as Morgan's legend grew, so did the whispers. Sir Thomas Lynch, a political rival in Jamaica, once noted, "He hath no great sense of religion, his only god is wealth, and his service to it knows no limits." Was Morgan truly fighting for the crown, or were his pirate instincts ever fully tamed? The sack of Maracaibo, genius or madness? Fresh off his victory in Porto Bello, Morgan's next move would cement his place as a pirate legend, or see him fall from grace. In 1669, he led his men to Maracaibo, Venezuela, plundering the town and seizing vast riches. But as they prepared to make their escape, disaster struck. A powerful Spanish fleet had arrived, blocking their only way out. Trapped in a narrow lake, outnumbered and outgunned, it seemed that Morgan's luck had finally run dry. But where others saw only defeat, Morgan saw an opportunity. In a desperate gamble, he ordered one of his ships to be packed with explosives and set ablaze, sending it careening toward the Spanish fleet. As the flames engulfed the enemy ships, panic spread through the Spanish ranks. In the chaos, Morgan's fleet slipped through, escaping with both their lives and their treasure. Was it sheer desperation or reckless genius that led Morgan to such a dangerous maneuver? With each daring raid, the line between madness and brilliance became thinner. Would Morgan's gambles eventually catch up to him, or had he mastered the art of defying the odds? The unforgivable act, the sacking of Panama. In 1671, Morgan set his sights on Panama City, the jewel of Spain's colonial empire in the Americas. Leading 1,200 men, Morgan embarked on a grueling march across the Isthmus of Panama. Through disease-ridden jungles, they pushed forward, driven by the promise of unimaginable wealth. When they finally reached Panama, the city's defenders braced for the attack. But it was futile. As flames engulfed Panama, Morgan's men ransacked the city. Spanish reports from the time detail the destruction, treasures stolen, homes razed, and Panama left in ruins. Morgan's men had claimed the wealth they sought, but at what cost? As Morgan stood amidst the burning city, Did guilt ever flicker across his face? Or did the thrill of victory override any doubt? One thing was certain, this raid would have consequences far beyond treasure. Here's where Morgan's story takes an unexpected twist. Just weeks before his raid, the Treaty of Madrid had been signed, ending hostilities between England and Spain. Was Morgan aware of the treaty? Or did he simply not care? His actions risked sparking a diplomatic crisis, one that could unravel his entire career and test the limits of the Crown's tolerance. A pirate night. In any other case, such defiance would have led to punishment, perhaps even death. But Morgan's fate took a surprising turn. Upon his return to England, rather than being condemned, Morgan was knighted by King Charles II. The Crown could not ignore the damage Morgan had inflicted on the Spanish. His raids had crippled Spain's grip on the Caribbean, and for that, he was rewarded. As King Charles himself declared, "Sir Henry, you have served your country well, made your name inspire fear in our enemies and respect in our allies." Now, Morgan wasn't just a pirate, he was Sir Henry Morgan, appointed as the new Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica. But beneath the title, was the pirate in Morgan ever truly gone? Or did he simply trade the chaos of the sea for the political gains of colonial rule? The final years and the sunken grave. As Lieutenant Governor, Morgan sought to impose order in Jamaica. He became a wealthy plantation owner, amassing a fortune through sugar and slavery. But whispers of corruption followed him. Was the pirate in him ever really subdued? In 1688, Morgan died, his health likely ravaged by years of hard living. He was buried in Port Royal, Jamaica, the infamous pirate haven. But even in death, Morgan's story took another twist. Just 4 years later, in 1692, a devastating earthquake sank much of Port Royal into the sea, including Morgan's grave. To this day, his final resting place remains lost beneath the waves, a fitting end for a man whose life was filled with mystery, chaos, and contradiction. Legacy, pirate or patriot? So, who was Henry Morgan? Was he a pirate who exploited the chaos of the Caribbean for his own gain, or a patriot who helped secure England's power in the New World? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Morgan was a man who walked the razor's edge, between law and lawlessness, hero and villain. But Morgan's story is just one chapter in the epic tale of the golden age of piracy, a time of bold adventurers, daring raids, and unexpected twists that would shake the very foundations of empires. What other notorious buccaneers lurk in the shadows, waiting to emerge and leave their mark on history? The untamed waters of the Caribbean hold countless more secrets, just waiting to be uncovered. And that's the incredible story of Henry Morgan, a man who blurred the lines between pirate and patriot and left an indelible mark on history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of one of the Caribbean's most notorious figures, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to War and Wisdom in History. We're constantly uncovering the fascinating and unexpected twists that shape the past, and there's so much more to explore. What other infamous figures, forgotten battles, or untold stories would you like us to cover next? Drop your ideas in the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, stay curious, seek wisdom, and see you in the next chapter of history.